Well, thank you for having me on.
Of course. What's going on?
Well, I wanted to take my condolences to you guys.
Thank you.
You guys actually knew Charlie. I didn't. I just followed him along a little bit. I think he's, for my lifetime, um, I was quite young when MLK was shot and
Hmm.
then Robert Kennedy being shot. He's going to be right alongside those two for people in politics that maybe or may not be completely in politics
Yeah.
at the time being shot and assassinated. That's going to carry on that kind of legacy for your generation and younger, I see.
Oh yeah, I agree. I agree. It's so insane to think. This is what my wife and I were talking about. She and I had been to the TPUSA events with the Timcast crew a few times and got to stand with him backstage and just watch how this guy built this whole thing. And I mean, those events they're big, they're wild.
Kellen's actually been telling me about them for a few weeks prior.
Oh, wow.
Up until this point, was talking about how he was excited for me to get out there and go see what one of them was like.
It's epic,
Dude, you got to go to the next one. It's amazing.
It's epic.
They wouldn't shut up about how hospitable Charlie was.
I mean,
to everybody.
It was great. They would set up, like, they had a big stage. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen those events, but they had this big stage there, and they just set up an IRL studio on the stage for one night, and it was crazy. It was crazy. I think Tucker was on one, and the year before that, Bannon. It was wild. Really, a good crowd. The audience is so engaged. It was the first time I had just started thinking about my faith, and crazy things were happening in my life and career. We went out there, and it's the first time I was like noticed in public, and it was a group of people who prayed over me, and it was like the best feeling. It was just nice. Very, very nice. And it was amazing out there. And then just to stand around in the backstage and see it all go down in this crowd and what they've done, all these different people coming through. I've been listening to Bannon for quite some time, so it was crazy just to see all this in one place. But I think you're right about, he's going to go down like these other political assassinations, and it's just totally absurd to think that is the reality that we have now.
Well, you have to look at how America is now. I mean, back when those other two assassinations happened, we were like 60 some odd percent Christian. Now I think we're like less than 40% for people actually follow what the scriptures say.
Right.
So you're going to have that. I mean, you look at our politicians. You got Tim McBride, for instance, from Delaware. He goes by Sarah now, but that's a mentally ill man.
Yep.
That is there controlling. He's part of what controls and sets the rules and regulations for the rest of us.
Yep.
And spends the money for us. So that is where we are as a nation currently, and eventually you're going to have someone like she supposedly said the other day to Putin that, hey, we should be able to live to 170 years. This is a paraphrase.
Yep.
Because we got all kinds of different body parts that we put in.
I saw. He said 70s like a baby.
Right, and that 170 is what we should be living to.
And like that's wild.
So the years of Pharaoh may be bad because you got, one of my favorite politicians, I like to paraphrase him. He called himself, that was Benjamin Rush, and he said that he was called, paraphrasing, a Democrat. He was called by some people a Democrat and some people a Republican. He said he's neither. He's a aristocrat. I agree with them on that.
Yeah.
And the people of the generation right now need to repent from our ways, turn to the scriptures, and follow Christ. If we don't, we're going to go down more and more terrible things that will be happening. It's up to us if we're going to allow God to heal our land or not. It took the Israelis, when they left Egypt 40 years ago and around the mountain and wandering around in the desert, which is only a 10-day walk,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
to finally give up their selfish ways and follow him. And you guys were talking about Congress again. You know, you said they're acting like children. That's true, because there's a lot of people that never grew up, just grew old.
Good point. So true. Look, it's a bunch of babies. Well, I appreciate you calling and sharing that with us, man.
Well, I hope you tell everyone there that I'm thinking of them. I am sorry that you guys had the loss of Charlie Kirk. I'm sorry that our nation has the loss of him,
Mm-hmm.
but you guys were friends with him. I didn't know the man. I never went to one of his things that he had, but I was so glad for people that are younger than me that's going to that. And he was pushing everyone. He wasn't pushing, he was teaching everyone to go in the right direction. And hopefully someone picks up the mantle and starts doing that. And hopefully there's not another instance like this. And the next thing that's on the docket, Pocahontas was pushing for it today, was to take our guns away. And
People are
the
evil.
way I read and study and so on, the Second Amendment was put in for us to have the same weaponry that our Department of War has, the exact same.
I agree.
Doesn't matter what it is. If you wanted an M16, you should have one.
I'm with you, dude. More guns to all the people. I think will make a safer place than taking everything away. It's ridiculous. They're insane.
If you wanted a tank in your front yard, that's your business. That's the way I said.
Yep. True that. All right. Thanks, man. We appreciate it.
And unfortunately, I live in the communist state of the People's Republic of Michigan. And a lot of people here still believe that Gretchen Whitmore was telling the truth about being kidnapped.
That whole story is diabolical. Diabolical.
Yeah. And a lot of people still believe it because they watch the mainstream media and don't research themselves and don't listen to the people and what they're actually saying in context. Instead, they go by whatever's been clipped.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have a great night. I'm sorry that today happened and you lost a good friend.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Have a good night, man.